Okay.
So we are backstage right now. We'll be starting in about 10 seconds. Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we are so pleased to have some wonderful guests joining us today. My name is, again, Sue Roskoff here on River West Radio. So AbilityMKE Now is a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, with people we encounter in our everyday lives. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and we celebrate the ability in all of us. I am so excited to introduce some new friends to the show here today, and I think you're all going to enjoy them as much as I have just getting to know them here this evening. The first wonderful guest we have is Ann Feustel. We've met so many wonderful people through the Happy Neighborhood Project, through HNP. Ann is a co-host of HNP Movie Lovers. She's an author and a business owner from Denver, Colorado, and in 2019, published a book called Our Favorite Movies: How Films Affect Our Mental Health. And I am so excited to hear more about Ann and her adventures and what she all does. So Ann, welcome to the show. If you want to go ahead and take the floor here and share a little bit more about who you are.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on, Sue. I really appreciate it. So my name is Ann Feustel, and I am an author, and I also have bipolar disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. And I've been dealing with depression since I was a child, and movies have always been there for me ever since I was little. And ever since I didn't even quite understand what was happening with me, but movies were always there to really help me through. And I discovered in college how much movies really meant to me, how much they helped me, because I was watching The Princess Bride during a manic episode where things were just swirling in my head. I wasn't sleeping, everything was just sort of going sideways. And all of a sudden, everything kind of stopped when I watched The Princess Bride. I was just all of a sudden in this other world, and I wasn't having to deal with all the sort of horror show that was going on in my head. So that's where I sort of discovered the gift of movies to me. And then in the last few years, I've been sort of learning how I can share with other people how much movies can help everyone.
I love that, because I know I personally, when I'm watching a movie, often will just get completely absorbed into it. And I love that time where I can just, not think about anything else, just to be able to enjoy that experience.
Exactly. It can do it. It's almost like you're going into a meditative state. That's one thing you can do when you're watching movies, and I've talked with other people, and they can do this too, where you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna let the movie wash over me. I'm not gonna, be on my phone. I'm not gonna be talking to other people. I'm just gonna be there, just me in the movie, and just sort of allow its lessons and its message and its experiences to just sort of wash over me.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I'm one of those people that if there's an emotional thing going on, I'm crying. I feel those emotions of what's happening there, and just to be able to have that time, it does affect me. I love that experience and what it can do emotionally with what it can stir up in me, and I'm so intrigued. I want to read your book and find out more about what you have there.
Yeah, no. This book has, it was an incredible experience getting to write it. It was so much fun. It was just a joy. So I'm just so happy I get to share it with people.
Excellent. Oh, I love this. We do have another guest joining us as well, and I'd love to bring her into the conversation as well. So Marla Sybil is a nurse from Rochester, New York, who has her MBA. And I, again, am so excited to find out more about Marla. And I want to have you come on in here, and if you can share a little bit with us about who you are.
Thank you for having me. I have been a women's health nurse, labor and delivery for 30 years. I love my moms and babies. It's very good. But even being a nurse, you're emotionally challenged sometimes by everyone thinks having a baby is so positive, and sometimes, you have to experience the negative things and you take it home with you. And I never really thought about movies at that time because it was a long time ago helping, but I could see how that could play out. And I have a son that's 26 and I have twin girls that are 23. And when the girls were 5 months old, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And they gave me a choice. I could have MS or I could have a brain tumor. What do you think is better? Well, I wanted to see my kids grow up, but I didn't know what it really meant. And then how do I get through it? And now that you're talking about this, Anne, I didn't watch movies during those years because I was so busy, 3 kids under 2. I didn't know what to do, overwhelmed with the diagnosis. Now, as a grown up, and my kids are grown up and moved on, I have progressed with my MS and the mental health issues that come with that. I actually was stuck in between doors. I've never had an anxiety attack, and I couldn't get through the doors to get into my apartment, and it was overwhelming. And so you have to learn. And since then, I try not to go by myself, but I have started to watch movies during the day when I'm here alone because I need a break. I'm not working as a nurse right now because I can no longer stand long enough, but I'm doing a lot of affiliate marketing. I absolutely love it. I've met so many people like you on the web. It has been so good for me, and it brings you up. So that's another way. Like if you're not out there communicating with people, there are so many ways you can do Zoom and talk with people and everything. But when I take a break, which unfortunately I need a break every day, I can put on a movie and just chill. I became very involved with the Hallmark Channel, which was kind of good and bad because the stories are great, but I'm the same as Sue that I cry. I mean, you get so emotional with them. And I've had my family say, why are you crying? Because I'm watching some movie. So I think that's great. And I think everyone, regardless of what your disability is, you should know that there are people out there that are just like you, and they might look at you like people look at me and they think, oh, there's nothing wrong. And they don't know. You never know what's going on with somebody else. So take a deep breath, be kind to everybody because you don't know what's happening in their life and you want to be a good person.
I think those are such wise words because they talk about invisible disabilities where you look quote unquote normal from the outside, but you don't know what's going on inside that person. I have friends that use wheelchairs on a full-time basis. It's kind of easy to tell that, oh, they've got some kind of a physical challenge in their life. And we try to relate with them on whatever level that means, right? Because they have issues with stairs. Obviously, they can't use the stairs to get into a building. So sometimes I have friends that we have to actually call ahead to make sure they have an accessible entrance that they can utilize. Well, people that have those invisible disabilities, we don't have that luxury of being like, oh, there's some way to know that there's something to pay attention to for them. And yeah, I can absolutely appreciate what you're saying.
And, here, we sold our house. I lived in a house for 25 years with my family, 5 of us. and we sold our house about 2 years ago. 25 years of, life in this house down to an apartment. It was quite a challenge. But the interesting thing is that this was built in 2014. And so that's after ADA compliance, and it's totally not compliant. And, I needed help with them to put doors in so I could get in and out by myself. So when you think about it and they look at you, I mean, they saw me before I moved in. They knew, that I used my walker and it's just different. And you have to make sure that you share with people your ability, or if you need something. Like sometimes, I might need help getting in somewhere, like Sue was saying, and you'd be surprised unless you ask what's going to happen.
Totally agree. So, and tell us a little bit more about how you, sorry, I'm kind of jumping a little bit here, but I have a question. I've been curious as far as with writing the book, what inspired you to put that together? I'm just curious about a little bit more of the backstory there.
Yeah, so I had been working, I'm out of Denver, Colorado, and I had been working at the Colorado Crisis and Support Line, and I got burnt out. It was an incredibly wonderful job. I really got to give back, and there was so much great stuff about it, but like so many other mental health professionals, I burned out. And I wanted to do something related to mental health, at least for part of what I did. And so I decided I was going to start a business, and part of that business would be writing. And I said, well, what's something I could do while I'm building up my business? And I said, well, haven't I always wanted to write a book? So I decided that was what I was going to write a book. And I thought about the things that are most important to me. And two of the things that are most important to me are movies and mental health. It's not just that I have mental health diagnoses, but there's various people in various generations of my family who also have had diagnoses. So it's something that's, I've it's integral to generations of my family. So I was talking with a lot of different people through networking, and so I just sort of workshopped the idea around and finally came to, well, our favorite movies, and that's my sister and mine, because 10 of the movies in the book are ones that my sister and I watched over and over and over growing up. So that's where our favorite movies came from.
Excellent. Well, and I got to ask, what can you share? What's one of your favorites?
So my absolute favorite movie of all time is Inside Out, which is a Pixar movie for those who haven't heard of it. And it's about an 11-year-old girl named Riley and the 5 emotions inside of her head: joy, sadness, fear, anger, and oh no, I'm going to forget the 5th one. Disgust.
There we go. I was trying to think too. I've seen the movie. I love the movie.
So it's a really interesting movie about childhood, about mental health, about how, you shouldn't expect children just to be happy, and that's, it's important to let children feel all of their emotions, and it's important for adults to feel all of our emotions and not sort of try to cut ourselves off, not allow ourselves to feel sad, not allow ourselves to feel fear, not allow ourselves to be angry, to allow ourselves to feel every single feeling. Whether or not you act on those feelings is an entirely different story, but feeling your feelings, and also feelings aren't facts. So that's what that movie is about, and I highly recommend it for anybody and everybody. But I think it's especially important for people who have mental health issues. I think they can get something out of it.
I love that movie. I think at the time when I saw that, I saw a lot of different things in it than the people I was attending the movie with. it's one of those I would love to go back and watch again. So I think that's one of those that the more you see, the more you get from it. I'm one of those people that I do like to watch movies over and over. If it was something that really struck me, I like to see it again, because I always find myself seeing different things or different things I missed the first time. I think I see the whole thing the first time, but I know for a fact I don't. It's just not possible, because having that insight of the ending helps to actually, for me anyway, to see the movie in a new way. So,
Yeah.
and I know other people who are like, I've seen that movie, I'm not going to see it again. There's people out there that have that attitude too of, I've seen it, that's enough. I want to see something new. But I appreciate that whole other aspect of being able to get more out of it and see it in a new light after seeing it multiple times.
Hmm.
And so,
But also, the good thing about seeing a movie multiple times is they've actually done studies that that's a very beneficial thing, because you get that familiarity with it. You get to you have that comfort of knowing what's going to happen next, because sometimes we can get a little anxious, like, oh, what's going to happen next in this movie? We know, and we can just enjoy it and just almost, just zone out if we want to, or just focus on it. But there's a lot of benefits to rewatching movies. They can really help you in a lot of different ways. And I think a lot of people found that out during the pandemic, that watching their favorite movies can really help them.
yeah, that is something that changed in our corner of the world. We actually hadn't been watching very many movies, but when we were stuck at home with COVID, so I actually kind of spurred that a little bit with my family, like, hey, let's have movie night. What do we want to watch tonight? And now we're all kind of hooked on watching a lot more movies these days than what we had for the past probably 20 years. Just being able, and well, we also have that luxury of things are more on demand these days. You can just pull up a movie. It wasn't like that a long time ago. You had to go somewhere to watch a movie. But the fact that it is that accessible now is really nice.
And my kids learned about watch parties on the TV.
Ooh.
So during the pandemic, two of them don't live in Rochester anymore. And the only way we could be together sometimes is to have movie night and do a watch party so that we could see them. And we're really into musicals also. So like Mamma Mia, Wicked, and now some of the older movies are turning into newer movies with music. And my kids just love music. So we tend to do a lot of that. And when you go see a show and you have that live music, it's just like gets you all upbeat and you get so involved in it, it just takes you away.
Do you know that they're making a movie version of Wicked?
I
No.
Yeah.
had not heard that.
Yeah, that's coming out, I believe, next year. I think they're doing two movies. I think they're splitting it into two.
Well, at first I almost didn't take my kids because Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie, like, of all time. And then I went to the theater and saw Wicked for the first time. And I said to my husband, oh no, the kids can't see this ever because the Wizard of Oz is the best thing. This will ruin it, which absolutely wasn't true. And we did take them all to see it. So, but that was the initial, feeling of, when I saw it, I'm like, oh no. So
I love it. Yeah, because even something like Cinderella, I know that was made into a live live action movie not all that many years ago. And I wasn't sure, when they redo things, I'm always hesitant. Like, is this going to be a good thing? But I've been, I'd say, very pleasantly surprised at how good the productions have been. And I've really enjoyed it on a whole different level, because we know the basic Cinderella story and other similar type movies that have come out in the recent years. And I do enjoy those so much.
And I really like what you said when you're watching it, whether it be movie, theater, music, something, that you choose whether you want to just be like relaxed and zoned out because of that, or that you really just focus entirely on it, and it might help you relax more and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. And it can also be can be true for television. And I do encourage people to try to find stuff that's a little bit more positive. Well, some people can get stuff out of any kind of genre of movies, but in general, I think it's helpful to go with stuff with a more positive message, especially if you're really trying to zone in on the movie and really focus on it and get into that Zen state. The more positive the message of the movie, the better. Actually, a really neat message movie that I've seen recently is called A Street Cat Named Bob, which is basically, it's set in London about this man who was formerly homeless and recovering drug addict, and he finds this cat who keeps trying to sort of adopt him, even though he doesn't necessarily want to adopt a cat right away. And then the cat and the man sort of rescue each other. And it's just really sweet and based on a true story, with the real Bob the cat playing Bob the cat. So,
Oh, how cool is that?
That's very cool. And I always say to my son, and I even had that conversation today, power of positivity. Everything, can seem like it's going sideways, but if you stay with your power of positivity, it will turn around and you'll get what you need.
I love that. I know a lot of us have met over, a lot of guests we've had on here, and even some of us here have met because of Happy Neighborhood Project. The whole concept of that I really like, because it just puts you in a better mindset coming into the introductions with new people too. And I think that's pretty awesome. So I'm going to throw out an absolutely oddball question for you guys. Every so often we have our evening here with our show, and one of the things we like to do is actually to have ice cream night. This is our ice cream social. So I got to just ask, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? And I'll start with you.
sure. I always go for a chocolate base. I am open to different types of things to go into the chocolate, but like a chocolate peanut butter is a really good one. Also like a chocolate vanilla swirl, or just different types of things mixed into chocolate, just in general, is my favorite. But if I had to pick just like one flavor, I'd just say chocolate.
Excellent. Okay, Marla, your turn.
Okay, first I have to say now I'm going to have to find some ice cream tonight. And
Sorry, not sorry.
Vanilla is my base, not chocolate, but I love salted caramel. So whatever I could get that's a salted caramel ice cream flavor, I love. I could, just munch on that a lot.
I hear that. That's awesome. So in my house here, usually anything with Oreo in it is a winner. So, but I lately have been doing a lot, and I'm a vanilla based kind of person myself. Lately, it's been a lot of either cookie dough or peanut butter cup being mixed in. Those are my favorites. So,
and if I'm doing like a something like it's mixed in, I do Heath bars. I love Heath bars mixed in the vanilla. It's very good.
That sounds good.
Excellent. Sorry, now that I've made everybody hungry.
I actually had some chocolate ice cream earlier today. So.
Oh, awesome. You're ahead of the game.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we do just have a few minutes left. I want to give you each a chance just to share a few more thoughts. Whatever is top of your mind here with this evening, and it could be anything. So actually, Anne, would you like to start? If you just want to take a couple minutes of whatever is top of your mind of any message you might have or anything you'd like to share with us.
Sure. Just wanted to also say that for those, so my website is wearewritingwisely.com. For just for your information. And also, I just wanted to sort of go with what Marla was saying earlier, is how important it is to live your truth and just be who you are. I think it's important for us to um, let people know what it is we need and we want in life, and find ways to seek out the folks who can assist us along the way. Not that I think anybody in the community necessarily needs help from anyone else. What we need is each other. So I also encourage people, if they're having a really rough time, to seek out support in crisis lines, because that can be a really great free resource for people. I know a lot of people can't afford things like therapy or special occupational therapy, or there's a lot of stuff that people, for whatever reason can't access. But I think crisis and support lines are great for support, but also for resources and that kind of thing. So I definitely encourage everybody to seek out your state, or just call 988. That's the newest number. I don't know if everybody knows that one, but
Actually, that's new to me. I'm not familiar with
I
that
didn't know
one. So,
that either.
so 988. Okay.
yes. Yeah. So you can call 988. I'm not sure if you can text to that number yet, but I know you can call it if you have any issues. So I worked on a line on the Colorado line, so I know how wonderful the people are on those lines. They're very dedicated, they're non-judgmental, and just fantastic people. And then finally, I would just say, thanks for listening. And I really hope that you all can go out and enjoy a movie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne. Marla, I would like to give you a moment here as well to just, what is top of mind for you tonight?
I just want to say that I also hope everyone does well, but a way for you to connect with other people is maybe find online groups for you, like meetup groups or Zoom group, that kind of stuff, Happy Neighborhood, all that kind of stuff. I think that communicating with other people just like brings more support into your life, and you can ask questions and feel better about yourself if that is something that you need. So I do think that you should seek help, tell people what you need, and live your best life.
I love that. Yeah, there's so many wonderful nuggets that you guys have shared with us tonight. I'm excited to get future chances to speak with both of you as well, and always would leave an open door here if you ever are able to come back and join us and to share more. The love of the arts, of movies, of being able to immerse yourself in something like that is huge. I can so appreciate that, and that little bit of escape that we all need. We all have a lot of stress in our lives, and like we were saying earlier, you don't know where another person is at in their world, what potential obstacles are there, or whether it's physical, mental. We all deal with stuff, right? So whatever that stuff is, sometimes it's nice just to get away from it and be able to just on some level sort of escape that. And even if it's just that little mental holiday of, I'm going to watch a movie today, I'm going to catch this show or that show, or music, whatever that thing might be, it really does make a difference. And I think sometimes we don't really think about it and appreciate what that does for us mentally, just to be able to refresh and regroup, that we can have that, and to have a support network around us as well. I think that having people near us and around us really makes a difference as well. So Anne, Marla, I cannot thank you enough for being here and joining us tonight with AbilityMKE Now. My name again is Sue Roskoff, and really